Hello, this is Heath Dweft, and I listen to
Raconteurs News.
Nobody heard any of it.
7 p.m. and it's Tuesday night. I got my laptop on and I feel alright. I got a few joints rolled and my munchies made. Got my headphones on and I close the door, don't disturb me. It's time to stand up tall and say some things about the shitty world we're living in with the boys at Raconteurs News. Zoo Raconteurs, Raconteurs, Zoo Raconteurs, Raconteurs, Zoo Raconteurs News, Raconteurs News, Raconteurs News, Raconteurs News, Raconteurs News. Oh yeah.
Good evening, welcome to Raconteurs News. It's the 23rd of January 2018. It's a Tuesday evening. My name's Jason Holmes and I'm really pleased to greet you here this evening. Here on Raconteurs News. I've not set the Facebook Live started yet, but I will do that very soon. Yes, we've got in the studio with me tonight, I've got my old mucker, Heath. How you doing, Heath? Say hello.
Oh, wait.
There we go. That's probably all you're going to get from him tonight because he's a very, very private person.
If you listen really carefully, you might hear a fart every now and again in the background.
Brilliant. Well, our guest tonight, we're going to have a guest tonight, Karl Davies. Now, we're having Karl Davies back again because last week he had to go off and collect his daughter from the hospital because she'd had an operation. So we sort of had a half hour without him. Okay, and he's going to be he's going to be on with me in about 5 minutes. He just sent me a message through, so we thought tonight he might. That we might be able to get him on right from the very beginning, but we've not been able to do that because something else has come up. So Karl is obviously a man in demand, a very, very, very busy man. So he's going to be on it. You've just had a Skype message from him. Says he's going to be on in about 5 minutes. In about 5 minutes' time, didn't he? That's what we said, didn't we, Heath? Right. See, he's not listening. He's sat there on his phone now. And he's I don't know who he's talking to. He's probably being groomed by one of these grooming gangs, he's gonna turn up for an haircut where his bald is only just I don't know some daft shit. I just made that up. It just came out of my mouth. Sounds about that, youth. I'm not trying to so that you're a bit dodgy. And I'm not saying you're a bit barber. So
Barber Popper,
yeah. Anyway, so we got Karl is going to be joining us in about 5 minutes' time. So between now and then, I suppose we're going to have to fill in with some stuff. I can't remember. Oh, that's what I was thinking about earlier on. Tonight we've. First of all, let me get all the shit out of the way. You can hear us on raconteursnews.com. We're on Spreaker.com /Raconteursnews. You can find me on Twitter. I don't do very much twitting, but I'd like to do a little bit more twitting. But tonight, you can find me on there at Beckham Coverup. And you can also, there's a Raconteurs News Twitter account, which is at Raconteurs News, strangely enough. We've also got a Facebook page as well, Raconteurs News Facebook page, which is always good to get lots of information from about what we're doing. Things at the moment a little bit up in the air, as I think they have been for the first 2-3 years of this operation. It's been up in the air. There's always been things that have turned the apple cart. But what's remained true throughout that is that me and Andy have been there with the backbone of this operation, and there are other people. And sorry, I don't want to denigrate Tina or anybody else that does great work with us as well. But the one factor that's remained stable is that me and Andy have been working together, and we're going to continue to work together and make sure that we get Raconteurs News out every step of the way. So anyway, what I was going to talk about while we're waiting for Karl, while we're waiting for the elusive Karl Davies, he's going to be on in 5 minutes, right? So it's 19:07. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a call to Karl when he's ready. If he tells me when he's ready, I'll make a call to Karl. But what I was going to start off with, I had chicken tonight, and it made me think. And these are the sort of things that go through my mind. I was cooking chicken, and we'd see Heath with the great sound effects there. Yeah. He's my mate. We don't see each other very often. It's the first time in a couple of years, and things always flow, whether it's alcohol or whether it's herbal things. But anyway, I was thinking tonight when I was peeling a chicken. It was a free. So I got this chicken. We had chicken tonight. Now I don't normally eat chicken, but this guy. He's a friend of mine. It's up where we keep our. My wife keeps her horse, and she has. They have chickens. So it's a farm, and he said to me, he said, somebody had made a point to me and said, if you wouldn't eat meat if you had to kill the animal before. So I took this on. So I went and I said, listen, can I have a chicken? I need to do the whole thing myself. I need to butcher it myself, and I need to gut it, and I need to then, you clean it out and prepare it, and then I'm going to eat it. So he said, that's fine. And we've had that chicken tonight. I went along and I butchered the chicken myself. Which I think is only something that anybody should do if they're going to eat meat, and I've got no problem with anybody that doesn't eat meat. But I have got a problem with people who say, unfoundedly say, things like that you wouldn't, if you had to butcher it yourself, you wouldn't eat it. So, we've had this chicken tonight. Now, bear in mind, this chicken's been running around in a field, right, in its yard, and it's been as happy as Larry. Whoever Larry is. Oh, here we go. Hang on. Let's see what we can do here. All right, Karl. I was just telling everybody a very interesting story about me dinner, and now you've turned up. Can't hear you, mate. Are you there? Are you there? Where are you?
Yeah, I'm here. I just run into the room.
Oh, right. So you are there then?
I am here now, yeah. I'm just squeezing my coffee. I've just made some coffee. I've just got home from work now.
Right, okay, mate.
Squeezing my coffee and pouring my coffee in my cup, and I'm going to go and sit in the van.
Right, okay. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll continue with my story. Just give me a bit of a shout when you're done, all right? When you're ready.
Yeah. Will do.
All right, this is live radio, ladies and gentlemen. It's Raconteurs News, the most professional radio show, verified, with the most handsome alternative or independent radio presenter with no hair in the UK, and that's absolutely verified. So, Karl, we'll see you in a couple of minutes, all right?
No problem.
All right, when you're back, just give us a shout, okay?
Well, yeah, no problem. Well, do you just want to just put me on mute?
I'd like to put you on mute, yeah, and Super Lee would probably like to put you on mute as well. So, yeah, I'll put you on mute for a minute.
No problem.
All right, Paul.
All right, Paul.
There you go. That's Karl. He's going to be joining us very, very soon, hopefully. So I hope I can hear him when he comes back on. I don't know if I'm going to be able to hear him because I've muted him and everything. Anyway, so. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't want to. I want to make an apology to Dinny because Dinny's a vegan. He claims. I don't think he is. But anyway, so I got this. We've eaten this chicken tonight, and to be fair, I can't tell the difference between that and one of the factory farm ones. In fact, and this might be a little bit controversial, but I think the factory farm ones would be perhaps a little bit nicer. And here's for why. When I'm running around with an axe after the chicken in the chicken coop, and it knows it's got pretty much a good idea of what I'm going to do to it, because it's seen others doing it. Its adrenaline's going to be going through its body. It's going to be going through its body, and it's going to tense the meat up. Whereas when you get a factory farmed, and I'm not advocating factory farming things. I think everything should be natural, and I do tend to not eat meat because I don't really like it. But a factory farmed one, you know, when they get pulled up, the life is so miserable that they don't know what's coming because they haven't seen anything before. Because all they've ever seen is like, you know, next chicken's arse or chicken next to its arse, and so it's more relaxed, so you don't get the adrenaline going through. It's just a theory. It's not an argument for anything one way or another. All it is just my observations. That's all. I just think that these free-range chickens, if you're going to eat some, you're going to eat it, aren't you? So hang on, let's see. I think we've got some.
Okay, I'll go in an hour. Right, I'll go and get some.
All right. He's going to get some. Are you there, Carl? Still there? Still?
Yes, I'm here.
Are you still?
I'm just up for it, wife. I'm here now. All right. See you later. Bye-bye, love.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, Jason. Busy.
Just on phone
How's
to
it
wife,
going?
are you? Are you not in trouble, are you?
No. Well, wife's a nurse, so I finished work at 4 o'clock. I went to pick my mate up. I've gone to another job, and basically I didn't start putting plaster hot water till 5:30, but I got home at 7 o'clock. So on plastering terms, that's damn good. And I did half the kitchen and a chimney breast. So
you're a plasterer. You must be
less than
loaded.
2 hours. Well, that's the thing, Jason. I'm not at all.
Why not?
Maybe you can help me with that.
Well,
Yeah, I've worked damn hard. I mean, that's part of my story. I had like 9 staff at one point, and my business partner, which is part of where have led me down this merry path, I suppose, to where I am now, because I won't take no more shit off anyone. But my business partner, he didn't have anything before he met me. His wife used to come and follow me when I used to take my dogs out, begging me to give him a job. So I ended up giving him a job. He worked for me for about nearly 2 years. He offered to put some money into the business, wanted to become a partner, so I did. We got 2 brand new vans. We used to do loads of civils and stuff. And his brother ended up dying of cancer at 26 years old. So during this time, we were like a fresh partnership. And he started, well, you can imagine, it's not a very, very nice place to be, is it? You know, he was misdiagnosed as having stomach ulcers, and they were treating his stomach ulcers, and he died at 26 with stomach cancer. So that was my partner's brother. So I cut him a load of slack. But after that, he never ever changed. And I mean, I'm sure I'm going to get a comment on this. I was driving to Sheffield over your neck of woods. I was working for Sheffield Council, and it was Monday morning, 6:30, and I was absolutely down for a drink. And I looked down at the van, and I seen a bottle of orange, and I thought, oh, real do. So I picked this bottle of orange up, cracked it open, took a big glug like that, and it was piss. He'd pissed in this bottle on Friday and put it in my van. So he come back to the side of the road, took a swing for me. So I grabbed him and I rubbed his head round it, nettles and it brambles for 5 minutes. You know, until he apologised. You know, I didn't batter him, I just, you know, showed him who was boss.
Right,
so that was the
listen,
start. That was the sort of partnership it were. But anyway, at the end of the day, he ended up taking me van, my staff and my tools. I went to work for somebody else behind my back after he had nothing. And then after that, my head was mashed. I mean, in that mashed. I ended up losing my 5-bedroomed house. Yeah, so that led me down the merry path about the mortgages and the finance thing and the law and
Well, Carl,
started it all off really for me down that path with that really.
I'm just starting off like we've just seemed to have gone straight into this tangent. We've got no backstory. Anybody that doesn't know from you before, not heard from you before, ain't going to have any sort of idea. And when we start talking about fating and all that, we're getting like Jeremy Kyle show or something like that. Don't want to be doing that.
Yeah,
so why
anyway,
just give us a starter of what you're about and what you're doing here.
Yeah, well, I'm from Burnley. I didn't come from a privileged background. Well, I don't know. My mum did quite well. I've got 2 younger brothers. I'm the eldest of 3. And I feel like I was quite privileged to have lived in the 70s, 80s, and enjoyed the 90s. It seems that last bit of enjoyment in life, we were the last to see it, I think. I feel sorry for this younger generation because they haven't seen anything. So, yeah, joined army when I was 16, 4 weeks after leaving school, spent 6 years in army. Got out, 23-year-old, had a young daughter.
Well, of course, when you first have them, they are young.
Yeah, very young. Then I got married, had another 2 daughters, and took a stepson. Took a stepson on, yeah, which is, well, I don't like calling him my stepson because he's like my son. So, yeah, and that's like my background, basic background. So, yeah, I run my own business for 13 years. A bit of a partnership with my father-in-law. That were a bit, up and down, working with family. Yeah, and but it's not been joyful, let's say, is it? It's not full of happiness. I mean, it's sure for everybody. It's hard work at times. But some of the big things in my life has taught me, and if you need to learn.
Well, what sort of things you come up against, Carl?
Oh, well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like playing. There's a bit of an analogy. I like playing snooker, and anybody who's played any snooker will know what I mean. It doesn't matter sometimes how well you're playing. If that white it just seems to going off, it seems like there's a force against you. It doesn't matter. You can be potting king, but if it's not working for you, it's not working for you. It's like a force, and it's like been this force against me all my life. But basically, when I was a kid, I used to I seen a ghost when I was about 9-year-old. So I were in an house on my own. My mother had gone out with my younger brother. She'd left a £1 note for me off my grandma. And I was waiting to go to shop. Anyway, I went downstairs into the kitchen and the kettle had boiled on its own. And I thought, well, that's strange, so I went back upstairs and I was sat in my bedroom watching a bit Philip Schofield on kids' TV on Saturday morning. And I thought it was the central heating pipes creaking. And I'm thinking, well, and then all of a sudden I thought there's somebody in the house. And I come to the top of the stairs and all I seen coming up the side of the stairs was like a shadow, but it was just the perfect outline of a monk. Like a sort of the Grim Reaper gown. Right. So, yeah. So that was a bit of an experience. I ended up jumping out the window and I didn't go on for 3 days. So that was my first experience of strange, not, central media as crap. I mean, it was like, pretty frightening for me. And then later on in life, when I went out with my mate had a farm behind where I used to live at that time when I was a kid. And it went down to the river where the River Calder is, which is at the bottom of Pendle Hill. So Pendle Hill, because like the Pendle Witches and all that lot. So you've got Pendle Hill directly in front of you. You've got the River Calder and my mate's farm. Well, later on in life, when I was telling my friend who had this farm, he was telling a story when he was lambing one morning. Him and his dad seen this monk floating across the river. And I went, no way. no way, because I seen exactly the same thing in my house. And basically, we're only 200 yards, but that was like 15 years difference, you know what I mean? A long time. So that was well, I don't know. I suppose I've always had an open mind because of that.
So you've got an open mind. You seem to have. Tell us some of the things that have happened to you, because you said that you seem to be being victimised. I don't know. That was the impression that I got from you from that previous statement. What do you think?
Yeah, no, well, I won't say victimised, but I mean, it's like. It's just story after story. It's like conflict after conflict. I was downtown Burnley Centre having dinner with my wife, and Oddie's Bakery. So, you know, nice sunny day. I were on my mountain bike. My wife had been working, so we were down at town centre having a bit of lunch. And I had my arm around my wife, and I weren't pedalling slowly. I was just pedalling with my wife. Massive, not busy. I mean, Burnley Town Centre, no one's got any money. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like Trafford Centre where everyone piles in. You know what I mean? It's not busy at all, Burnley Centre, not even at Christmas. So anyway, I was basically I was literally 40 yards away from the town centre to where the road is, directly in front of the police station. Anyway, I come round this corner, and I had my arm round my wife, and she was walking outside of me. And this copper come round, and he said, right, can you get off your bike? I went, get what? Get off. I said, whoa, what's got... Yeah, no, there's no cycling here. I said, yeah, mate. I said, and it's there, Edge Town Centre's there. I said, I'm not going. I said, there's people robbing shops in Town Centre as we're speaking. I said, what are you trying to stamp your authority on me? I've done no loss or harm to anybody. I said, anyway, next minute, he starts getting a bit boisterous, this copper, and my wife turns around and says, just get off your bike. And he's like, if you don't get off your bike, I'm going to give you a ticket. Get off your bike. And I'm like, right. And I'm like, right. Fucking hell, get off my bike. So I got off my bike, and as we were walking up to the end of the town centre, I was giving him some jargon, you know. So he said, what are these policies you're trying to force on me? What authority do you have over me? Why are you trying to bully me? I said, I haven't done any harm to you. Anyway, next minute, he starts writing this ticket out. Right, I'm giving you a ticket. I said, well, what for? So he issued this ticket, and my wife took it off him, right? It just carries on. So basically, I knew from previous times in the magistrates in Burnley Centre that I know one of the court ushers called Emily. We used to go out raving back in the day. Anyway, she's one of the court ushers now in Burnley Centre. So I went down to Burnley Magistrates and I went to the inner and I said, right, my wife took this ticket off this policeman. I told her the whole story of what had gone on. I said, can you just check on the system that there's nothing there? Or what's there, because I'm not paying it. I just want to make sure that if there's something there, I want to sort it out, so I'll send the appropriate letters to the appropriate departments. So she's looking 20 minutes later. No, there's nothing there, Carl, you're all right, there's nothing there. So, fine, fantastic, real good. About 6 months later, a year later, I picked my work colleague up, and I was coming down to Burnley Centre to Builders Yard. And just where I turned left at Builders Yard, there's a little back street, and I could see a police car parked up there. You know, just the roof, because there were a wall, so you could see top of police car before he could even see me. So I'm coming down the road, Monday morning, to Builders Yard, went to turn left, and I looked right, and it was the same tit from Burnley Police Station. He was trying to stamp his authority on me when I were on my bike. Right. A year previous or 6 months previous. So I went to the Builders Yard, everything was fine. Went to work, Tuesday morning, picked my friend up, coming back that road, and he was there again. He was there again on Tuesday morning, and he was parked up a good sit roof, and I'm smoking a wake and bake. You know what I mean? Out way to work, coming down the road, turn left. As I turned left, I see blues and twos come on. So I wound out window, threw my dinner out at window, but next minute he comes screaming up behind me, and he's like, so he gets out at van, And I comes over to her and he's like, "Great, what's your name?" I said, "My name's Karl." He said, "Right, do you mind getting it back at car, Karl?" And I went, "No, not really. I'm claustrophobic. I don't like enclosed spaces, mate. You know, you need a ticket for that when you work up roads. You know, a confined spaces ticket." I said, "I ain't got one of them, so I can't get in your car." He said, "Right." He said, "Well, what's your name?" I said, "My name's Karl." He said, "Well, what's your name? What's your other name?" I said, "Well, I have a family name, but it's corporatised, so I don't like using that because people act upon it." He said, "If you don't give me a name, I'm going to arrest you." I said, "What for?" He said, so next minute, I looked down the street, and he said, "You weren't wearing your seatbelt." I said, "Have you got any evidence I weren't wearing my seatbelt?" And next minute, he says, "Don't run." And I looked down the street, and my mate went, "You'll never fucking catch him." I went, "You won't fucking catch me." And I set off. Anyway, next minute, these two fucking bobbies chasing me down the street. All lads have come out into Builder's Yard watching me on this fucking street. So I'm running down road, runs down road about 50 yards, and I'm speaking to him saying, "Come on, you cunt." You know what I mean? I said, "Have you been in army?" Because I've been in. "You ain't got a fucking chance of catching me, you fucking faggot." So I'm running down road, down this back street, round the block, back up. All lads are outside Builder's Yard cheering and that. Hey! And I comes back up, jumps in van. As I got in van, I couldn't put central locking on because he grabbed the door handle behind me. So next minute, he pulls his baton out. And his next minute, don't forget, this is for a seatbelt. Next minute, he brings his cosh out. So he goes to cosh me window. So I fucking jerks forward in van so he can't to squash him against this wall so he can't bosh me window without moving his arm. Then he runs round and he starts trying to CS gas me through me other window. And I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing?" So I'm like, "Here." So I've got my mate who's Pete. He's a sovereign man. His house is an embassy. Let's put it like that. That's how far my friend's gone. Okay. So I've got my mate Pete on the phone, and I'm saying, "Here, look, speak to me, mate Pete." Anyway, as cut a story a bit shorter. Bag on. He said, "Look, you're just going to have to be arrested." So next minute, I gets out at the van. I thought, right, fuck it. And he's like, "Give me your keys, give me your keys." I'm like, "I'm not giving you my keys, are you fucking mad?" So I threw into me mate. And then Damo shot off then. So my van was parked up. The next minute, they're looking round my van and all that, pissing around. And the handcuff man, he's trying to eventually they handcuffed me. It was 5 minutes of a job anyway, because I was trying not to at the beginning. Anyway, put these handcuffs on, and I swear down, they were cutting my circulation off because I was proper feeling dizzy. So next minute, he's like, "Sit in the car." So I'm sat in the seat with my legs out because I could hear the van coming up the street. So next minute, he's like, "Get your legs in the car, get your legs in the car." And I'm like, "No, I'm not putting my legs in the car." So next minute, he starts jumping on from my knees, trying to rake me down my shins. You know, I mean...
Wow.
That's not going to affect me, right? So I stood up with my arms behind my back, and I stood up and I went right up to just a millimetre from his nose, spitting in his face. "You do that one more fucking time, I'll smash you all over this fucking street. Who the fuck are you?" And next minute, because my wife's a nurse, she does CNR training. So basically, there's a tactic where you clench your fist and you push your knuckles out. And basically what you do is you rub the chest. Right? So I'm stood there like that, and she comes home and she tries to bully me around with all this CNR training. Because she's a mental health nurse and she needs to protect herself while she's at work. So they have to do this training every year. It's mandatory. So basically she comes home and she tries a few moves on me, but it's not going to work. So anyway, this copper then turns round and I could see him go like that with his fist. And I thought, "Oh my God, please punch me." And next minute, he starts rubbing my chest with his knuckles on fire. And I'm like, stood there smiling at him like, "What the fuck are you doing, you? What are you doing?" And this guy, the guy coming up in the van, meanwhile, he's coming down the street. So I'm stood up now outside this car. The van hurtles down the street. Don't forget, it's 20 mile an hour, right? 20 mile an hour. This is for a seatbelt. So why is he doing 70 down a 20 mile an hour street? At next minute, he handbrakes the van underneath this bridge, jumps out, and he went, "That's all right, isn't it? Did you see that?" And I'm thinking to myself, "Oh my God, I'm in a fucking cowboy and western here. It's a cowboy and western.
Wow.
You know, so that's... And then it just goes on. It beggars belief what goes on. And then I told you about the story about my van being stolen.
Well, let me just tell you. Let me just interject there. We've got quite a few people supportive of you in the chat room. We've got Burnley Police Station. Somebody called Burnley Police Station. How you doing, Burnley Police Station? Who says that he's wrecked? Dinny, who says that he's fucked. Webby, Paul Webster, how you doing, Webby? He's laughing his arse off. I think that came through at the time when you were talking about legging it away from pigs and pigs chasing you and everyone cheering and everything.
It was funny that. So, but at the time, I weren't too serious. That because I know that if you start using the common law and you don't know how to use it properly, you can go to jail. So at that time, I didn't feel as confident as what I do now. Now I'm all right. Back then, I weren't as confident as what I were. And maybe it's a good job, really. So I ended up going to court for that, and they ended up doing me for evading arrest and resisting arrest. Yeah.
Well, you weren't really resisting arrest, were you? You were just saying, catch me.
It's just mind blowing, man. Absolutely mind blowing. Well, the first piece of justice, the first piece of injustice that I seen that affected me and my family, because my father-in-law were affected by it. But if you actually watch the videos, I can't exactly protect him. But he didn't do anything wrong. No, he didn't cause any harm to anyone. So. But nevertheless, the Burnley disturbances. I was the first person in the cells in the Burnley disturbances. I'd come out of the army. I'd never been in trouble before in my life. I had no criminal record. I run my own business. I employed staff. Everything were happy days. And I went out that day, did nothing wrong, got chased off the police again. With 4 of them. That was another funny story. I had these 4 coppers chasing me, and they were this wall. And I jumped over this wall, 4 coppers jumped over, and I jumped back over, and they jumped back over. And it was funny. It went on for a few minutes. That was another funny thing. But then after that, my solicitor, you're all right, you don't, not guilty, blah, blah, blah. Wait. As soon as it got there, go guilty. If you go guilty, you won't go to jail. And I went, right, you'll get community service. So I went, not guilty, didn't get community service because I had a business and staff. And then what they did, they decided to, on that community service, I mean, this country, if I've got 4 or 5 staff, and it pisses it down all week, and the only opportunity I have to earn some money and cover my costs and pay my lads' wages and just take a little bit of money for myself sometimes, because that's how I were. I go to work at weekend. I'm not doing community service. I've got 4 of the 5 of the people that depend on me being at work. So anyway, I went to jail.
Wow.
We're not doing community service. It's like...
At what point, though, Carl?
These people, why are they running my fucking life?
At what point, though, Carl, do you decide that, listen, I'm just going to...
What, go to Canada and live in the fucking forest?
Well, no. Yeah, well, you could go there, but at what point do you decide that it isn't worth it? What you're being put through, and the amount of time it's taking up in your life, and the amount of energy it's taking up in your life. At what point do you say, because of my upbringing and the way I am, and the way I've been brought up. To be honest with you, I never ever blow my own trumpets ever. I try not to, because you're not supposed to. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to blow your own trumpet. But I've had a tough upbringing. I'm a fucking tough man. All my friends have said to me what I've been through in my life. There'd be people in ground. There'd be people 6 foot under what I've had to do, what I've been through. There's no 2 ways about it. No 2 ways about it. Yeah, we all have things that happen to us, and we feel like we're fortunate to have got through them. and that we, you know, that they do make you stronger. But
well, I've had the most horrific things happen in my family. My auntie's a paranoid schizophrenic. My mum kicked me out when I was 15. I didn't see her for 20 years. She had a stroke. My brother lives in New Zealand. It's just mind-blowing. Hard work, but it's made the person I am. Do you know what I mean?
I don't see how it's any detriment to you that your brother lives in New Zealand.
But that's why all my friends, every single person I met when I were at work this year, they all put me in the phone as crazy Carl. But I tell you what it is, I live in a world of crazy motherfuckers. Tell you, I'm crazy. Oh, you're a lot of fucking crazy, man. You ain't got a clue what's going on.
Yeah,
Right
it does feel like
face.
I know it does feel like that a few times. Carl, listen. What I want to say to you is, I know it does feel like that sometimes, but you've got to strike up some sort of balance, because you seem to be on this black and white, and you're going for the white because obviously white is the truth and what have you. But what you've got to do is you've got to deal with shades of grey in between, and you don't seem to be able to do that. And the only way really to get yourself through this and to come out the other side with at least a tad of sanity is you've got to be able to soak up some of the shit. You've got to be able to soak it up, because if you're just rejecting it and responding to it in a negative way, that's just going to hurt you more than it's going to hurt them.
I don't respond in a negative way. I think I'm one of these people who shoulder other people's shit. You know what I mean? I shoulder other people's shit. There's other people who, and I was working for my friend. I built an house for my mate, and his wife come round a few times, and she's like, Carl, why are you so angry all the time? And it's like, well, I might come across as angry, and I do get angry. I'm absolutely, and everybody should be as angry as I am. I feel sometimes, but I just feel passionate about everything. I can't understand with what's going on, why there's not fucking uproar with everyone. When you put all the dots together, when you've got that list of all the things that are wrong with this place where we live, and what they've done, and the lies they've told, and the shit what they're doing to us children, it is mind-blowing. And I can't understand no one else gives a fuck about it. I can't understand it.
It's not so much that, Carl. It's like I said before, people have been they've been undereducated. They've not been taught critical thinking. They've been taught things that are just don't fucking algebra, things like that just don't matter, that have got no relevance to real life whatsoever. And then they're told that they're good at something because, you know, they've been told it and then repeated it on a piece of paper. So
I've tried being like a diplomat. I've tried coming nice.
It's not about that, though, Carl. Carl, it's about what it's about is you've got. I'm not talking about. I'm not defending these people. What I'm doing is I'm giving you a reason as to why they are how they are, and it isn't. Right. In most cases, it isn't their fault. It's not their fault. This is how they've been conditioned.
I understand that. I understand because I know about the poisoning. I know about the injections. I mean, down the road, I had a thing on my phone down the road from us, and basically what happened is I know an awful lot. Well, I know a lot about a lot of subjects, but not into such great detail to be like a specialist. Like some of the people that you have on your show, they know an awful lot about one subject, don't they? They dedicate a lot of time to one thing, which is absolutely fantastic. And that's why I like listening to your show, because some of the people who you have on, they go into absolute fantastic detail on one specific thing. And that's what I enjoy most, you know, because I talk about a lot of things and a lot of other people do. But then the people who I enjoy the most are the ones who absolutely smash it and go for it and tell everything right down to the details. I mean, you have to listen to some of the shows 2 or 3 times to get your head around some of it, don't you?
I don't listen. I've got this like thing about listening to myself back on radio. I've done it once or twice, I think, but not very often.
Well, I did it last week. I turned it off straight away. I'm like, oh my god, and I'll be doing it. I won't be listening to myself tonight because I heard me accent and I think, oh my god, I sound like a proper, like, living in a like stone barn up middle of Yorkshire Dale somewhere like that, don't I?
Well,
People always say we're from Yorkshire, from Burnley, but we're not.
Well, you almost Yorkshire, aren't you?
Here we go.
It's almost, but not quite. Close, but no cigar when it comes to Burnley being in Yorkshire.
Well, my friend, there's my friend's coming competing in Sheffield. If anyone's listening and going to Sheffield over the weekend, one of the guys who I've worked with is Mark Felix.
All right, okay.
Anybody know Mark Felix? Recognise the name?
I don't recognise the name.
I'll give you a minute. I'll give you a minute.
What about you, Heath? Mark Felix.
I'm Monged.
Oh, Heath's Monged. Okay. So he won't.
Mark Felix. Anyone?
Let's have a look. Mark Felix.
Bit of a shout out for him. Stop cheating.
Well, I've got it, won't I? What am I going to do? I'm not going to. Nobody in the audience is going to be able to do it because they're all Monged. But, in chat room, Mark Felix. Strongman competitor.
Yeah, man.
All right,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So Mark actually does renovates and plastering, and that's what I'm a plasterer. So anybody who wants to do plastering, just get in contact with me. Bit of a pun for myself. Sorry about that. I had to get it in. Yeah, but that's who I work with. I work with Mark sometimes.
Right.
Bit of a shout out for him, yeah. Yeah. So where were we going? I'm sorry, we got some completely sidetracked there, didn't we? What were we?
Well, I was just gonna ask you what your.
I was shouting, weren't I? We're getting angry, weren't I? That's what I was doing.
Yeah, well, we like that.
I've calmed down now. I've calmed down now.
Yeah, it were. I would. What I thought. Well, let's get you going on. Seeing as we, all we need to do is like sort of turn the little key in behind you, and then ask you a question, and then set you going, and then we can go. What do you make of this whole transgender issue and this
experimentation?
Let me finish the question and then answer it. How's about that?
Sorry,
this transgender issues. Now, I think it were last week, but there was a transgender. I'm going to call it a bloke because it is a bloke. There's a transgender bloke who's pretending to be a woman, who has been accepted onto an all-female list of candidates for the Labour Party. So what they've said is we're going to close this. Whoever's campaigning to become a candidate for this constituency, I think it's in Kenneth Baker's or David Davies. Somewhere. It's quite a big constituency. But they said, right, all the candidates we're going to consider to put up in this next election have got to be female. Now, one has been accepted onto this all-female shortlist who's a bloke, who's pretending to be a woman. So what do you think's going on with this? Because it seems to be massively everywhere when it affects so few of us.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, I knew there was I knew sort of where it was going because a couple of years ago, down in my local town centre, there used to be a cinema in Burnley Centre, but it moved. And where it used to be, the entrance is like this, just like a shop front. It's never open, but it's run by. I don't know whether it's. To be honest with you, I don't know whether it's run by the council, the police, whether it's some cross. I ain't got a clue. But we were reading this notice in the window, and it were asking for people who were of the LBG, whatever community, to be part of this group. To influence certain things in your local area. Become part of this group too, so you can like help other people in your local area, the LBG, blah 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 community. And I thought, wow, you know, they're actually going to be start using these people, because I've had quite a lot of experience with these people throughout my life. I can't. You see, I'm dead set again. I'm sorry, but I'm a creationist. You know, I believe we were created, and as far as I'm concerned, it's human crossbreeding. I don't know what they're doing, how they're doing it, but it's like an epidemic proportions. It were never like this before when I were a kid. And people saying people were in the closet and kept it all quiet. No, not to these proportions. Up until, when was that, 1979, I think the British Medical Foundation classified it as a mental illness.
Well, it is a mental illness, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. Of
It
course
is a
it
mental
is.
illness.
They need help.
Yeah.
They're confused. I think, is anybody surprised that these people are a percentage of the people? Because look at it as numbers, what they do. There's a certain percentage of millions of people who are confused of what they are, who they are. Well, basically, let's look at the full list. They don't know who they are. They don't know what sex they are. I mean, they don't even know where they are, where they've come from, where they're going, what they're doing on a day. They don't know nothing. The only thing that my experience with these people, the only thing that they're interested in is themselves and all the things that surround them, that gives them that liberty to be who they are, or who they think they should be.
But that's part of the problem, you see.
But I don't.
No, just let me just make a point here. We're saying that these people are mentally ill, right? So when people are mentally ill, they do have behaviour. So you know, we should treat them as mentally ill rather than. I know where you're coming from. But to start having a go at them would be is divisive, and it is exactly what the reason why it's been splashed in our faces all over the place is because they want to divide us. They want us to say, oh well, they all want this, that, and other, and they want to get these rights and all this sort of stuff, and that divides us rather than looking and seeing who's benefiting from this agenda. I mean, it's just my personal experiences that I've had with them. I mean, if they keep, for as far as I'm concerned, so long as you don't throw it in anybody's face, or if there's children there, because I don't want the kids seeing that, you know, I really don't, and it's all over the TV, and it's all part of the. What do they put on the TV? But again,
the programs, aren't they?
People,
programs.
There are decency laws, and they apply to everybody, no matter what, whether you're a minority or what. They should apply to everybody. Now, I couldn't walk down the street, you know, in just like a thong, flaunting, you know, in high heels, and flaunting my heterosexuality. And much as I really wouldn't want to anyway. I mean, for me, whatever you get up to is a personal thing anyway, and should remain personal. It shouldn't be something that's flaunted and used as a weapon so that you can make other people feel bad.
Well, you don't need to dress like that and put it out there and expose yourself just because you might be lesbian, gay, or whatever. Trans, you don't have to. I mean, my auntie, there were a guy who used to live across the road from my wife's auntie, literally 2 minutes walk from where I live now, and I've lived there. I've been in the area where I've seen lots of blokes dressing as women. I went to snooker last night, and one opened the door for me on the way out and said, "Did you have a good night, love?" And I went, "Yeah, I did, love. Thank you." You know, so I'm just scared, and I'm worried. I feel the reason why I'll just put you where I am. It's in the basket of population reduction. That's what I'm saying. It's an agenda in that basket of population reduction. It's a tool, and I think it's an experiment. Maybe using chemicals, foods, I don't know. Maybe there's stuff in foods, what they've been putting in the food. I don't know. But there's something happened. There's something with the numbers and the escalation. There's something happened. It's like fashionable. Why is it fashionable? It's fashionable. People are turning gay because it's fashionable.
I don't think. But you see that I don't think they are.
I think they are. I think honestly.
I don't think they are. I'll give you a good argument as to why I don't think people are turning gay because it's fashionable.
I think they are. I think there is. It's a fashion. That's what they portray it as, isn't it? That's how it's portrayed as the media. That's what they're using it as a tool. Otherwise, it wouldn't be on the TV.
What wouldn't be on the TV? This is what I don't get.
The promotion of the LBG, etc., that's run by the Clinton Foundation. It was the Clinton Foundation that founded it, weren't it?
I've no idea. I've not looked really.
Yeah, with Bill Clinton. The LBG movement was founded by the Clintons. That's who started it off.
Right.
This is what I'm saying. I know a lot. I've got the information there, but in the depth and the knowledge and the names, etc., I don't know. But it's definitely the Clintons. The Clinton Foundation started the LBG. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Can you double check that? I don't like telling lies.
I'm sure somebody will.
In my years, I've also learnt that that you need to keep your mouth shut for an extremely long time until you actually start learning and realising what's going on. Because I've made a fool of myself over the years, and I'm a bit first to admit it, but not anymore.
Bugger. I'm just looking for something. Yeah, I was going to say, what were I talking about when? I'm no use asking him. He's like 90 on a settee behind me in my little studio. Yeah, but the.
Cameras together.
We were talking. You were talking about how it's fashionable to be gay, and
Well, that's how it's promoted to be, isn't it? I think that's how it is on the TV. I mean, it's like everyone. Hollyoaks. I mean, my kids watch. I've watched Hollyoaks, and it's like every other person is like they're either. And you know that in the influence on the children's mind from them ages up until certain ages, it's all scientific fact. I can't remember the direct ages, but with systemic and repetitive programming from music, the phones that everybody has these days, and kids, they're never off them, are they?
No.
It's just them tools. I just put it, for me. It's in that basket, and I'm dead set against this population of the earth being reduced as what they've got planned for us. And and for the confused people, for anybody out there, I don't want to offend anyone, and if I have done, I'm sorry, but I've just put it in that basket because the agenda at hand. And it is at hand. They want to considerably reduce the Earth's population by 90%. And
why would they want to do that?
One of them agendas that they're blasting on the media.
Cal, why would they want to do that?
Well, the Georgia Guidestones. Well, I don't know. Why would they want to do that? I don't know.
Well, I know the Georgia Guidestones. I've seen the Georgia Guidestones. But just for me, I'm playing devil's advocate. Just as somebody. Just saying, why would they want to reduce the population by 90% when they've got us all enslaved anyway? So we're all slaves to them anyway with the system that's built. So why would they need to get rid of us? They might as well continue. Then they get more and more of the resources that we've got on land, and the more of the resources that we create with our labour, they get more and more of that. So why would they want to reduce that down so that they... do you think there's a critical mass where they think, well, we've got this much, now let's get rid of them, most of them. Yeah. Just keep a few round to make us an omelette in the morning.
Yeah, I think I think that critical mass point, and when you look back and do your research over the years on YouTube and books and things like that, there's an awful lot, and I mean an awful lot of documentaries that I'd set against them. And tell you the truth, there's an awful lot of things out there when you start looking back in time. Look at the footprints in the sand. You can't hide them. You can't hide your footprints in the sand. And when you look back in time, it's there. And it's like when you watch that George Orwell film 1984 and sit there, and it's an hard watch. Have you watched it?
No, I've not. No, I've read it.
It's an hard watch. It is an hard watch. You know them films that back it because you think is, oh my god, black and white. You know the original film, and it's the acting, the directing, the film. Yeah, but it's an hard watch. But when you start taking the stories out and bringing it to today, and Brave New World.
Yeah. Anyway, listen, we're halfway. We're at an hour, so we're going to take a break and have a couple of records, Karl, and so you can get yourself a comfort break, or I think you're going to have about, let's see, about 9 minutes. So you're going to have 9-minute break, in which time you can get yourself a cup of tea, or perhaps have a shit or something like that if you're a quick shitter. But not if you're a slow shitter. You're not going to be able to have a shit in 9 minutes. But yeah, so you can just get yourself something to eat. Listen to everybody. Thank you for listening. You're listening to Raconteurs News, and it's the 23rd of January 2018. My name's Jason Holmes. I'm with Karl Davies tonight, and we will be chatting a little bit more of different things after we've played a couple of records. I'm going to play this one first, and the one that comes after, I'm going to play that one second.
Hello, this is Heath Dweft, and I listen to Raconteurs News.
Right, hello, are we back? Are we okay? Anyway, welcome back to Raconteurs News. I had my mic off then, you know all that I just said then, Heath. Nobody heard it. Nobody heard nothing at all. Nobody heard. Oh, Carl, I'm telling you, nobody. I just realised I got my mic turned off. But anyway, there you go. It's welcome back to Raconteurs News on this Tuesday, the 23rd of January 2018. Brilliant. It's going well, isn't it? It's going well. 2018, and we're still here. So I'm here on it's broadcasted on Spreaker.com/Raconteurs News, and of course on RaconteursNews.com. I've got my mate on the casting couch that I use behind me in this studio. I don't know if you can see, but he's laid out and a little bit monged. He's had a few herbal assistances of the smoky kind, and so he's a little bit monged out on there. But we've got a great guest with us tonight, and he's well, I thought I could rant, but when it comes to ranting, I think Carl, you put me to shame. How you doing, mate? All right.
Yeah, I'm all right. Well, I'm sorry, mate, for ranting. I know I ranted a bit. It's because I just got home from work, I think, and I've been plastering, running around like a bat out of hell, and I just parked up outside, got my iPad, gone outside, and that was that. So I was still on, running around in my head. So I've calmed down a little bit now. I've got myself a little bit of herbal tea and herbal remedy, and half time, and I feel a lot better now. Thank you very much.
Well,
what
cool.
do you want to talk about? What topic do you want to talk about? Because I want. Shall we start nailing something down? Well, I'm after a little bit of help. So.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's what we wanted to get into in this second hour. I wanted to. You were sort of asking for a little bit of help, and now you're not the sort of person that's asking for somebody to do something for them. You're just asking for some advice on how to do things.
Yeah. Just. I mean, just a breakdown of the process, or maybe just point me in the right direction, or maybe say, well, you need to do this first. Then I'll complete that, and then say, after you've done that, you need to do them basic things. The writing and the formulating. Happy days, I can do that myself with the right context. I mean, I drive round with the Black's Law Dictionary in my van, and whenever I stop work at dinner time, I'm always every day I look through it, and I'll always find another word that astonishes me. Of the true meaning of the legal term, the legal term of what they mean. It beggars belief sometimes. It really does. I can't go through that dictionary any day without finding a word that corresponds to real, just the amount of manipulation what they've used against us is mind-blowing. You
know what I'd like to do, Carl? Bearing in mind I've got Super Leeds in the chat room who's telling you that his advice would be to move to Yorkshire, and that would be my advice as well. But since I think you're probably going to be resistant to that advice, I'm going to suggest something else. I know that I know that he has been listening. So if Webby, Paul Webster, if you're listening, if you want to jump in on this call, and you and Carl could have a bit of a chinwag and discuss, talk. Carl, you could give Carl some advice. If you are, listen, we've just had some advice from Dinny in the chat room. His advice would be grow. I think it must be the fuck up rather than to fuck up, but that's just Dinny. He's called me a wanker at least 5 times today, and I don't even live in the same country as he is. So that's just what he is. So if Webby's about and he wants to call in and get in on this. And perhaps give you a little bit of advice. Like you say, you're not the sort of person that's looking for somebody to solve all your problems. You're just looking for some advice on how you can do it yourself.
Well, just the background story. My daughter, one of my daughters, and this is another piece of the jigsaw, and I see it. I live with it. It's one of my daughters, Sophie. She's totally encapsulated with her phone. She's completely phone. Everything's on her phone. Plus my wife, obviously, she's a mental health nurse, like I mentioned earlier. She says that my daughter's on the spectrum of being autistic, so she's got autistic tendencies. She suffers a lot from depression and anxiety. So it was reaching to a point where we were tearing his hair out. It got to a point, well, basically, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my sister-in-law, brother-in-law, and half of the family live over in Cyprus. So what we did is we took my daughter out to school and we sent her over to Cyprus because we were finding it hard to cope. And we know over there that the cousin's there and they get on really well, so she could go and sort her head out, come back down to earth, just take a bit of time out. Because there's a lot of pressure here, isn't there? There's a lot of pressure for teenagers, and that's another tool. They're pressurised in every way possible. Everywhere possible. Squeezed. And it's like squeezed so bad.
Teenagers these days, they're pressured into so many things with the advent of social media and it's the perceived
matrix.
What draws them in, right, is these silly, shitty fucking shows, these reality TV shows like Love Island and all that, and then it shows you, to be successful, to make money, to do things. You don't need any sort of talent. All you need to do is, you need to be able to draw your eyebrows on in the fucking right way and put your tits into something that's going to make them look the best that they can and be on a beach and be on a celebrity, on a TV show. And then, what? So that's all they do. And people see that and people follow that and people follow that on social media, and then they think that they can attain to that. They can attain to the same thing. I know it's a different thing. But when me and Eve, who sat behind me, when we were kids, we used to think, fucking hell, we'd be so ace on telly, wouldn't we? Didn't we?
Oh, yeah, we had a double act plan.
We had a double act planned and everything. We would be so fucking great on telly. We would be amazing. But, what we didn't realise is we were never going to get there. We were never going to get there. The only way you're going to get there is if you get, you've got pushy parents that want you into show business because they see it as some sort of passage out of the fucking gutter that they perceive that they're in, when in fact they're living in a fucking 4-bedroom semi-detached house on a fucking council, on a nice estate. But what they want to do is they want to push the kid into a perceived better life than having the life that they've already fucking got, and then they push them and push them and push them, and then they push them into the arms of these fucking predators, and these predators get away with it for years and years and years and years because all the parents are seeing is the fucking checks that are coming in because the kids, starring in fucking commercials or on films and everything, and their life's getting better. But what they're not seeing is what's happening to them kids. They're getting enough money to be able to say, right, well, there you go, your kid. There you go. You take complete control of my kids and do what the fuck you want to them. That's essentially what they're doing. This check is big enough for me to say, there are my children. Go and make them entertainers. In fact, do what the fuck you want with them. Because this check is going to fucking keep me fucking warm at night. It's going to keep a fucking, rain off my head. And it's going to feed me for the rest of my life. And that's what people have fucking moved away from. We need to try and find a way to get away from that sort of perception. But we can't, can we? Because these kids, all all they're doing in the Facebook life is they're trying to manage their lives. When they're on social media, they're managing their lives, right? So what they're doing is they're editing what they're sharing with people, what goes on, and most of it is it's either going to be really good or it's going to be really shit. And the people that put really shit things up, they're perceived as people seeking attention. The people that put the really good things up, they're the people that are perceived as bragging, and the ones in the middle are the ones who just put the fucking dinner up and just about everything that they ever fucking do on Facebook. But what they're trying to do is people, when they're on Facebook and Twitter, they're trying to manage the perception of themselves by other people. Whereas, why give a fuck? Why do you care about what somebody else thinks of you? What you should do is you should just try to be a better person. I couldn't give a fuck whether somebody's got fucking more money or more cars or more. I couldn't give a fuck. I really couldn't. I don't care. As long as I've got enough to fucking to be able to just. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, people's worth. Sorry, like Carl, I've been going on. I'll give forward to you.
Yeah, well, do you know? No, well, I don't know what it is. It's mind blowing for me. I mean, some of the things I've done for some of my friends, and I won't talk to them anymore because of where they've tried, and they're the sort of people. One of my friends, Scott, for about 10 years ago, I told him that cannabis cured cancer. When we were playing poker one night, and I told the lads. Anyway, ridicule, bullshit, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, a few years ago, he was on TV, and he's the first person in Britain to open a shop selling CBD. He was on the TV on News Northwest. Now, that were me. Off the back of what I told him, he's made a decent business. He were also involved in e-cigarettes. One of his the boss of the shop, he come into the shop one day. I give him an idea. He used my intellectual property. Within a month, he'd gone over to Manchester and sold 1 million bottles off the back of what I told him to do. And he didn't even give me a backhander. So, when Scott, this homeless guy were walking past his shop, and I were in the e-cig shop. And he turned around and he went, "Look at the state of that. Fuck it, why should we have to pay for that? Why can't he just help himself?" And I turned around, and do you know what I used to do? This guy who was walking past, I've gone out my house when he's been outside my house, and I've gone out and I've given him clothes, and I've given him bread, and I've given him food. And I've picked him up off the floor when I've been travelling home, and I found him at road on my way home at 2 o'clock in the morning. I phoned ambulance. I actually come home one day on my bike about midnight, coming towards Turf Moor in Burnley, and there's a culvert bridge, and I seen somebody leading half on the road, half on the path, and 20 yards in front there was this woman, and the woman was between me and this guy. And as I was going towards this woman, I said to him, "Is he all right? Have you said up to him?" And she turned around and she went, "No, I ain't got a clue." And I thought, well, why does this woman not know what condition this man is, led 20 yards away in the road?
Okay.
And have we got a few technical issues?
I think we might have. Can you hear me? Am I going through?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Right, okay.
Mark calling awesome.
Yeah. Pop back over here from Orson and bring that bird with you from 60s, from 70s. Mindy.
Mindy, yeah, that's the one, isn't it? Smoking Mindy. Yeah, what? When programs were programs, eh?
Yes.
Programs were programs. But we got sidetracked anyway with my daughter, didn't we, and children and that. So, about Webby with the elk. So, shall we give a brief outline what we were They got a bit. Well,
Go on. I
haven't
mean,
we?
Webby said he can't come on because he's on a group call at the moment on his
Right.
as well, but he is
give
listening,
him-
so he'll stick some stuff in, some ideas in if there's anything he hears that he thinks that that might help you.
Right, so Marston's had been round to my house. So I wrote him a rebuttal notice. Stuck a removal of implied rights access on my window, one at the back. Last time, a few months ago. So next minute, we've got some more letters come through the door. Bailiffs turned up at my house one morning. I've opened the door and I've seen a wheel clamp on my wife's car outside. So I've come outside and as I've come outside, I've asked him what he's doing, and so I started explaining to him basically, what the fuck are you doing? You're not allowed to do this. You've got no rights whatsoever. Take that clamp off that car, otherwise I'm going to phone the police. So next minute, his mate goes to get a wheel clamp with a chain to put it on the other wheel. Because I nearly had this one off. I was riving it off with my hands and I just had it halfway over the tyre. And I was going to rip it off. And I was just literally going to, if I let the tyre down and I got it off. So in the meantime, this other guy's gone to get this other wheel clamp from the other side, big chain. So I thought, right, well, I know the law. I know that in the breach of the peace, the only person who should be arrested or go to jail, to be locked up, should be the antagonists. Yeah, the breach of the peace is the antagonist. So I've got my lawful right to stand anywhere I want. So I went to stand in front of where he wanted to put this clamp. So next minute, this other bailiff comes round, grabs hold of me, throws me against wall in the house, rips my coat, £200 coat, had a Stone Island t-shirt and underneath, £100, ripped that. I told him to get off, that's assault. Don't touch me, what you doing? Touching me, that's assault. I'll get off me. So basically, he's got a camera on. Next minute, his mate's phoning the police, and my wife was videoing it. She was stood at the door. And the police have turned up. Next minute, we were me and this bailiff had hold of each other. And then next minute, because he were assaulting me. I had bruises. I should have took pictures, and I knew I should have got doctors, but I'm not that sort of person. Do you know what I mean? I didn't suffer because I know what the meaning of suffer is. I've got the law dictionary. I'm not going to go to. I'm not going to read it out. So basically, I were assaulted. So this other bailiff who were with phoned the police. The police have turned up. Right, we've had an allegation of assault. I said, I'll tell you what it is. I want to make an allegation of assault. Who are these men turning up at my house? They've not shown me no proof of ID. They've not got no warrant signed by any judge. So what are they doing here? And may I remind you that you should be here on peaceful terms as peace officers. So next minute, I said, well, why are you here? And they said, the only reason why we're here is because we've had an allegation of assault. I said, right, so you're not enforcing any policies what these people are trying to enforce? And they said, no. I said, well, that's all right then. So next minute, they've took the wheel clamp off my wife's car. They've said that you've got another 10 days to pay, otherwise they'll come back. They haven't been back. Yeah, but it's the assault thing that I want sorted out, really, because this guy assaulted me, ripped my coat. I went down to the police station the day after, and I wanted to make a complaint, an allegation of assault. So the woman behind reception, I'm saying, look, I want somebody impartial. I don't want somebody involved in this case because of these men who were acting as constables who turned up at my house. They said they were acting under oath, but their actions weren't corresponding to their oath. I said, so I want somebody impartial to speak to about it. I said, because the allegation of assault, I want something done. So next minute, she's on this computer. And then she's on the phone, and she gets the very arse who were here. And he'd be turned around and said, right, well, can you tell him that there's no further action on any other part? And I was like, no, I want to make a complaint. I want to make a charge. I want something doing about it. He assaulted me. I want to press charges. And basically, they would not do it. And the woman turned around ignorantly, right? And I couldn't believe it. I was furious. I was just about to explode. And I had to walk out, because that's what I do. And when I get to that point, I'll just walk off. Because I know I'll get in serious trouble. So yeah, she basically said that that's a civil dispute between you and them. It's no civil dispute between me and them. He assaulted me. That's a criminal dispute. That's criminal. It's not civil dispute. It's criminal. I suffered loss. He ripped me coat. That's criminal damage. Or basically trespass. Trespass on me and trespass on my property. And damage to my property. But they've not been back.
No.
So and the police won't do anything about it because I've been down. So I've been meaning to go down again. I'll be down again this week to the police station, and I'll make a further complaint.
A couple of
told me to go to the police complaint. So it's like we all know. Where do you go? You know. I mean, basically, I should be able to bring a charge straight against that man, shouldn't I? Is that the direction I need to go in? A private claim, civil claim.
Well, we've got a couple of we've got a couple of messages in the chat room and on Facebook Live. So I just want to get these in. Adam Bodin is a good friend of mine. He went to school with his brother. I mean, his brother was my best friend in the first year before I met Heath. And then I dumped Bodie, didn't I? I totally dumped him. But Adam's his brother, and he said that he restricts his kids to 2 hours on the phones. Getting back to kids and how they're being affected by social media, and he's also put what happens is that people are disappointed with reality, and then that completes the isolation cycle. So what they do is people. I think what he's saying there is that people. When the reality, they see something on the social media, and then when it comes to the reality of that thing, then they ultimately they're always disappointed, and that again leads us down to where people are being narcissistic and just wanting using social media to try to portray it. Like I said, perception management. You manage how people perceive you, and that's all that kids are doing these days. Whereas back in our day, it would be like, we'd be on what is it? One of them, we'd be running up a huge phone bill. I remember me and Heath running up a huge phone bill at his mum's house on like talk about, yeah, a silly thing, and it was daft, and but it was kids these days, they're not doing that. What they're actually doing, they're not trying to get involved with other people. Although it seems like because you're on a social media network that you're connected to more people, you're actually more disconnected than you were when we were kids.
It's like that Charlie Chaplin in that speech where he says, with the advances of technology that's supposed to bring us closer together, we've never been further apart. And that were in his time. And look where we are now. Just imagine if you were alive now and he could see this.
Imagine if I were alive now. Oh, if he was alive now, sorry.
Yeah, if he were alive now, yeah.
Yeah, God, well. I mean, there's been so many, though, haven't there? There's been so many occasions that we've been warned throughout history.
Yeah. But we've been blinded. We've not had the eyes to see, have we?
Well, for me, it's the experiment's gone perfectly, because what you do is you implement more and more. You implement more and more restrictions on things, so that it becomes more and more difficult to try and work out what you can do and what you can't do, and yet then what they're doing is they're degrading the education and making people into people that can do stupid things like algebra but when it comes to asking them anything critical, anything to analyse anything critically, the only way that they can do it is through the indoctrination and the training that they've had.
Yeah, well, I'm a screenshotter, me. When I'm on my phone and I'm researching and I'm having a look around, I take a lot of screenshots, and this is one of them that I took a long time ago, and I've kept it on my phone for quite some time. I'll just read it out, and it's a quote from Bertrand Russell. And it's called The Impact of Science on Society. And this was wrote in 1959. And this is how it goes. Quote, gradually, by selective breeding, the congenient differences between rulers and ruled will increase until they become almost different species. A revolt of the plebs will become as unthinkable as an organised insurrection of sheep against the practice of eating. Diet, injections and injunctions will combine from a very early age to produce the sort of character and the sort of beliefs that the authorities consider desirable, and any serious criticism of the powers that will become pathologically impossible. End of quote.
Marvellous.
And that's where we are, and that's what I see today.
But there's tons of them. There's tons of them. What we're going to do, because I think we spoke about this before when we spoke on phone before the last show that we had to abort, and we had to get in a substitute, the super lead substitute. So we were talking about this before. I mean, how does this change? Because what we seem to be doing is it seems to me that whoever's running this has got both sides sussed, right? They've got both sides in the palm of their hands, and we all know who we're talking about. We all know who these people that get huge alternative media audiences, and we all know that they're there to sort of keep us tangled up in the spaghetti, if you know what I mean. You see, they keep us tangled up in the spaghetti, whereas nobody's really actually thinking, and nobody's really actually doing anything that's... So we did speak before, and I think we were both of the consensus that it was an inevitability that if this was going to come to an end, that it would be violent.
When people are starving, well, I'll tell you what it is. I was watching the fucking news of the day, right? And I hate watching the news, because when I watch it, and I hate using that quote because I feel it's one of their quotes, but it's for those who have eyes can see and those who have ears can hear, right? And I was watching the news, and they were going on about the investment of over how many billion were they going to invest in the homeless? Did you see any of that shit?
No, nothing.
No, they're investing billions into the homeless sector.
Yeah, but they're talking out of their arses, Carl. We know everybody. But that's the problem, though, is that everybody know. You, me, every single fucking person on this planet that watches news knows, and I'm talking about everybody. Everybody that watches that and understands the words that are coming out of these people's mouths know that that's bollocks. When does us fucking accepting that stop?
Oh, when people are starving, man. That's what it's going to take, when people are starving. And people are going to be starving because it's what they said next. After that, that's so detrimental. It's so detrimental. Because they said they were going to invest these billions into the homeless sector, right? But what they said after that is the estimations of increase of homelessness generated in the next 5 to 10 years. It's going to more than double, quadruple.
Of course it is. We know that. We can see where it's going.
Well, this is what they've said, that there's going to be millions and millions of people homeless in the next 5 to 10 years. Do you know what I'm saying? Basically, that's basically what they fucking said.
Well, we can see that. We can see that, Carl. We can see that that's going to happen. We can see that is happening day by day. More and more people are having their houses taken off them. They're being evicted.
It's going to take.
The less and less and less there is support for them. We can see that. Now, what I'm asking you, Carl, is where does the tipping point go? Where is it when? Do you know what I couldn't really give a fuck whether I get in fucking bother for this because or not, because I think it's right. I was watching something on the Romanian the revolution in Romania when they got rid of Ceausescu, and they just went in and they just got rid of him, just killed him. Right, so when does it get to that point in this country? I don't know what it was like in Romania, but when does it get to this point? And I'm not advocating going and killing anybody, but I'm just saying that there is going to be a point, and it seems as though we're allowing them to push us and push us and push us to the point where at some it's going to go. And the only way that it will be able to go is it will go violent.
Well, hopefully not. Well, you see, it's one of them things. It's one of them programming things, and this is what I mean. I spend a lot of time thinking about it. I don't think like everyone else, and I'm sure you don't. But it's going to be a combination of I don't know what's going to happen first. Whether it's going to be like, whether they're going to divide us through race here, civil wars, and then it's like whoever's left after starvation, or whether starvation first, but it's whether you can come together, and it's whether the people can see them people who they're going to put in place, whose job it is, employed to fucking stir the shit up, because that's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do, but it's like I also know, and when I talk to people at work, it's like, listen, because I know a lot about all this shit that's going on, and they don't give a fuck. I tell them so it's like, look, I'm not telling you this. This is the finance minister of Hungary telling you this. And I was watching a documentary, and it was the finance minister of Hungary. And what he said were basically, George Soros, out of his 25 billion fortune, has invested 18 to 20 billion of it into companies whose interests are the influx of migrants into Europe. He's funding the invasion of Europe. They are. And that's why Hungary were getting so much shit on the TV. And that, I can't remember. That might have even been the BBC. Because he didn't pull no, I tell you honestly, he didn't pull no shot. He were on it. He were on it, big time. Because they weren't having him in Hungary, were they, if you remember? They won't accept him.
Mm. We've got a comment in on the Facebook Live feed. Hello to everyone who's watching on Facebook Live. Hey, hello. It's from John Hull, and he said, when the majority of the sheep have lost everything, and then they will wake up and they will learn, and they'll bloody well wake up. So I think what John's saying there is that when people...
Well, that's the point.
It has to affect you, doesn't it? Yeah. Really badly.
Well, that's the point. When people lose everything, it's going to come to that point where they're going to sell everything that they've ever had. Anything that's worth anything will go, because they'll be starving. I've been through my life, honestly, Jason, I've had so much shit. You know, there's been times where, I mean, when my business partner did that to me, it was just before. I finished work December one year, right? The company that I used to work for, I went for a pre-contract meeting in February, went down to the offices, waiting to start work in Wigan. We're in contact with road crew, preparing to just go to work, start work basically over in Wigan from Berlin. Half an hour down the road, we'll be back to work straight away. Next minute, gets this phone call. Right, I'm sorry, you're not going to work anymore. That rate, plug, straight away, like that. So, from them experiences, it's just, like I said to you earlier on, it's just one after another, after another, after another, after another. It's like, today, I went round to I'm sorry, I'm a bit of a shite out for my mate. My mate were giving us a lift today, Damo. If he's listening, he might be listening. And Stuart, and basically, I was just polishing up this wall that I was plastering today, and he was stood at the back door, and it was the reveals round the back door, the angle bead. And basically, the insides had been done, and I was doing the main wall, the main face of the wall, so they were fat. The access plaster hanging over the edge of the bead. Anyway, as I went to plaster, the guy's house who have we got technical issues again? No, the guy's house who it were. He decided to put his finger up on the angle bead as I was coming down with my trowel. Anyway, I ended up just before I left here to come on shore tonight. I ended up chopping off the top centimetre of his finger before I finished work. No, there's a bit of an apology for him. Sorry, Stuart.
Yeah, it's going to be good to work with you, isn't it?
Well, it weren't my fault. I was doing my job. He was stood underneath me. I were on a ladder above him, and he just decided at that very point to put his finger right where I was coming down with my trowel, and I ended up. Them trowels are really, really sharp. They're like razors. They're like razor blades. They really are.
Right, well, listen, Karl, we've got about 15 minutes left, so that equates into 10 minutes of me and thee talking to each other like we're a pair of, a Yorkshire-Lancashire duel going off here on Raconteurs News. But what about this last 15 minutes? This last, 10 minutes of chat time. Flat Earth. Go.
Flat Earth, if you want, yeah. Flat Earth.
Go.
Flat Earth. Well, where do you start? I mean, I dismissed it for quite some time. I used to see it online every now and then, and I used to think, "There's no, where the fucking hell's put that on there?" As if because I was right down that road. I'd been right sucked in. I used to listen to it all, the Anunnaki and all the, and I used to think, I used to look up at the sky, we're out all the time, that, with the UFO thing, and I used to think, just do anything to be there. Just anything to do and travel through them up there. Must be amazing. And then, just all of a sudden, I just thought, I'll just have a look. Let's see what this stuff is. Let's just have a look and see. And that were it. That were it, just, because it just makes. But the flat Earth, it's been ridiculed. It's got such a bad name, like Martin says. So, it's like, it's not what they say it is. It's fucking far from what they say it is. It's never in a million years. Never. I mean, just look at the math. All you have to do is look at the math. Look how things work, and it just all adds up, doesn't it? When you put all the dots together, whatever system they say it is, and it's like, go out and test it yourself. It's back to that knowledge of education and testing things. And Tesla saying, experiments have been put on the shelf of mathematical equations. It's what they're doing. Because I used to think to myself, everyone must wonder, like, what happens if you mix that? I used to think about stuff like metallurgy, when they mix metals. They must have tried. I think to myself, they must have tried every combination of everything. Have they? I don't know. That's the sort of shit I think about. You know, but when you look at the flat Earth, like the clouds, I mean, I can go halfway up Pendle Hill in Burnley, and I can see Blackpool Tower. All of it. I can see the sea. And Pendle Hill's about 800 and something feet. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But you don't need to go all the way up. You can see Blackpool Tower from miles away down the M6 on the way up.
How many miles
before
away?
You get to Preston. Miles away.
How many?
Oh.
Get some idea.
Well, how far is it from Preston to Blackpool? About 20 odd mile, 30 mile. And you can see it from about probably Chorley side time or something like that. Wigan. See it for miles away.
It'd be
And it's
interesting
like
to see if Webby could
it's like
see
water.
it.
I'm a builder at work, and then in a level, there's a liquid, and generally, it used to be water or an oil, so a liquid, and the liquid sits level, and that's what we use. And you look at the other stuff like words that are tied to each other, innit? So you've got horizontal with the level, yeah, and you've got horizon, horizontal horizon, planes that travel at 500 mile an hour. If the Earth's spinning at the equator at 1,000, why don't they just hover up, wait for Earth to spin? You'll be there in half the time. Planes would only have to go one way. You wouldn't see a plane crossing you in the sky. They'd just jump up above, move around the airport for a bit, fly around and come down. They won't go anywhere. Oh no, you would see them because you would see them, wouldn't you? Yeah, because they'd be stationary and you'd be spinning past. But I like my mate when I just showed him. He's only looked at like 5 videos, and then today he went online and he was watching the space station live, and he was telling me, man. He said, "What a crock of shit that is." He said, "What are they trying to do with that?" And it's the first time he's ever gone on and looked at it, but with wider eyes and looking at the flat Earth thing with the maps, and it's like the moon. They've never been to the fucking moon, have they? They've never. Who took the picture on the way back when they took off? How did they get that back? Royal fucking Mail. Eh? There'd be McDonald's up there. There'd be Costa Coffee. They'd be charging people 20 grand for a 2-day trip there. They'd be smashing shit out of it, wouldn't they? Like everything else, they'd be killing it. They'd been killing it for years. They've never been back.
Yeah.
And Trump wants to go again. Well, that's going to be funny.
The moon stuff is fucking obviously dog shit, and the International Space Station is just a joke. It's a joke. It's a fucking. We're giving billions and billions of pounds to a fucking so that they can make cartoons for us. They're making cartoons.
Gangsters. That's what I say. That's what I call them all. You know that I just call them gangsters because that's what they are. They're all gangsters.
Mm.
Aren't they?
Well, we know they are, and the whole space travel thing for me falls, lives and dies on this. That we're talking about that there's rockets, and so we've seen when the lunar module fires off back up, and then it pans up as well. I mean, that's one thing. But first and foremost with me is how the hell does a rocket work in a vacuum? Because a rocket is dependent on resistance, and you only get resistance with density, and you can't get density in a vacuum. So how
But that vacuum is also past the Van Halen radiation belt.
But I know that bit. That's a great point. But I just want people to just try to understand the fundamental point, because people seem to miss it. Right? If I'm in a rowing boat in my kitchen and I'm rowing, I don't go anywhere. You know why? Because there's no water, and if there's no water, there's nothing to resist my movement and my energy that I'm converting into movement using using the paddles. But if I'm in a pond and there's water there, there's resistance from the water. Okay, therefore I move. Right. So how when you're in space and it's a vacuum, when you've got a rocket or a thruster, what does it push against? Because rockets, when they're on the ground on the Earth, they thrust against the resistance of the air that surrounds them. That if there's no air, how do they work in space? That's what I can't understand. That's the one fundamental question that I would like answered, and nobody's got one.
No, they haven't got any answers to any of them, and there's a debate coming up, isn't there? There's a debate coming up in the flat Earth thing with the Neil deGrasse Tyson and the Eric Debate thing, and it's just so much shit. It is unreal for the people who know.
It's because it's shit. It's shit.
Yeah, it's just shit. But when you put it all together, it's like when you go up some of them videos from when people have put drones up. What happens to stars when you get up there? Where do they go when you get so high? How come there's no stars up there ever? You know, when you get so high, what are the stars? I mean, they're the strangest thing as well, aren't they? When you start looking at what the stars are, and when you start looking at what the frequencies are. You know, like with sand, and like when you start looking at what the church windows are. So the church windows are like these flower shapes and stuff. And then you start looking at the vibration frequencies. And then when you start looking through a telescope at what some of these patterns, what the stars make shapes, it's absolutely crazy. It's crazy. Crazy. I don't know what it is.
It's like, I mean, people will talk about stars and things like that, but most people, the only experience they get from stars is what they've seen in the sky. And so for me, a star is a little bit like one of them little lights that used to be in a 90s nightclub on ceiling that would used to come on and off. So for me, stars don't really. For a start, if we're I think we're supposed to be travelling. I don't know. Sort of like 500,000 miles an hour or whatever it is.
Every day, forever, never changes. And it's like, you know, I've got another thing, and that, you know, the Spear of Destiny.
Yeah.
What do you think to this? Now then, the Spear of Destiny, the story and mythology behind that. We have a compass, don't we? What's on a compass? What points the way on a compass? Is that not a spear? Is that not a spear? Is it not everyone's quest to follow that spear? The Spear of Destiny, is it on a compass? Is that possible?
I don't know.
And the flat Earth thing, what is at the North Pole? What is there? Is that compass on that? Is that spear on that compass our destiny to follow that? For everybody to go there.
Spear of Destiny, Carl. I'm afraid you've gone a little bit.
But I know about the religious thing and the Bible and what it was used for. Sorry, man.
When you want. It's been a great chat. I hope you enjoyed it coming on and speaking with us.
Yeah, great. Smashing. I'd like to do it again sometime. But maybe not. Maybe when I've calmed down.
I can't hear you, mate.
I've been a bit pumped up tonight. Next time, maybe when I come on again, I'll be nice.
No, we like pumped up. We love it. We love that pumped up bit. That's the really the bit we love. It's because it's straight. It's it's not somebody just saying some shit that they think that you want to hear. It's passionate and it's from your heart as well. So thanks for that. Thanks for everything, Cal. We'll certainly have you on again. And perhaps we'll pair you up with Super Leeds and Webbo at some point, and we'll just leave you to it so you two can maul Super Leeds to death in the chat. So listen, thanks very much to everybody for listening tonight. And I will be back next week. I promise I'll be back next week, Monday. I've not got anything lined up for next week yet, but I've got a couple of things in the pipeline. Some Dave Witcher and some dragons and some sort of stuff like that. So we will see you next week. Thank you very much. Listen for the podcast. raconteursnews.com and Spreaker.com/raconteursnews, or just do a search for Raconteurs News. I'm on Twitter at Beckham Coverup. We're on Twitter as well as at Raconteurs News. And if you want to join me on Facebook, if you want to just have a look at me on Facebook, I'm facebook.com/Holmes2. So thanks for listening this evening, and we're going to leave you with this one. Have a great week. I'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.